Hello, you guys. Sorry about that. Something happened, so I'm gonna have to unlist the stream. Yeah. I hope everyone comes back in. You forgive me, Patrick? Thank you. Yeah, hopefully everyone joins back in. But yeah, since this is a since this is a stream about unprofessional, I'm unsubbing. Dude, you know that when it comes to my music related content, I try to not be professional on purpose because my film work and my series work are pretty much my more professional side, and I think that says a lot because I don't even think that's that professional. What happened? Something happened, and I had to restart the stream. Sorry. Kung Fu Fighters. You were getting into the conversation. Wait, what were we talking about again? Oh, I brought up Vector, yeah. Yeah, Vector is a very interesting band. I have a friend of mine who now lists them as their all-time favorite band. And not that that's a problem or anything, but I'm just kind of surprised considering like their whole discography is only 3 albums. So, yeah. But I think all 3 albums are really good. What do you think about Metalhead Toes? What is that? How am I doing, Alex Kawa? Doing well. How's it going with you? You never said you like death or hate death. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's understandable. The toes of a metalhead? What? Yeah, I think death might be an acquired taste. Like like when I listen to them, I I can see why some people don't come back to them a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, um, I don't think Death is really a melodic death metal band. Um, but they are just plain death metal. One of the pioneers. Let's get right to the important part of show feet. Okay, I think we have a troll in here. Yeah, I knew that Death started metal. Like boy, I'm just going to ignore everything you say, so everything you say will just, you know. I don't think Serena's really heavily into death metal though. So I mean, I guess that's somewhat of an exception. Down with the thickness. Yeah, Warped Tour bands. Oh my goodness. Us anymore? Haven't really listened to them. I mean, I think there is what is it? Warp Tour bands. Like, didn't As I Lay Dying go to Warp Tour one time? And I think they're a good band, so. And that stopped getting under my skin. And Zach mainstreams. Yeah, I never went to Warp Tour either. I really don't plan on it. Emer's album, Look at Yourself, the worst metal album of 2014. Interesting. Oh, Mezzy Mez. But yeah, since we're talking about melodic death metal, this is the stream title. What if you guys do listen to melodic death metal, what songs or what albums have you guys been really digging lately? Because I know one song from a melodic death metal band that I've been listening to recently is 20 More Miles by Soilwork. Of course, I think everyone here has heard of Soilwork because I have brought them up quite a few times on my channel. You like all types of death metal, just not melodic? You like In Flames, though, and Soilwork. When's my Mike Shinoda track review coming out? I don't know. Sometime this week. The thing is, I was honestly kind of disappointed in that song, but you'll hear my opinion in the review. Yeah, but not just Mellow. Amorphous. I have not. I think I have heard of them, but I have not heard any of their music. So there's like a debate question I've been thinking about, and the debate is Soilwork versus In Flames, and I've been trying to really figure out who is the better band. I would say Soilwork, only because they've been a lot more consistent, than In Flames have. Obviously, I mean, if we're talking In Flames' first 5 or so albums compared to the entire Soilwork discography, I think that's where it would get tough. Because if I was judging, if I was looking at both bands based on their whole discographies, I would definitely pick Soilwork, because ever since A Sense of Purpose, the band has pretty much gone downhill. Am I ever going to branch out into brutal death metal? I'm guessing you're talking to Serena. Yeah, I like the new Judas Priest album. It's definitely a great album. Yeah, I mean, it seems to be like when these, the classic bands, no, what do you mean? No, I don't. Did I check your Instagram message about Between the Buried and Me on the radio? I think you did tell me about it. Was Black Bear the guy who did those deep, distorted vocals that sound like they came from dubstep? Because if so, my goodness, you were asking me. Oh, I'm not really too familiar with brutal death metal at the moment, but I don't know. If it's bands like Cannibal Corpse, then it's probably a no-go for me. But if it's anything like Death or Carcass or maybe Classic In Flames, um, then maybe I'll consider them. But they're I don't know. Yeah, I can't stand Cannibal Corpse either. I was actually thinking about making a metal bands I dislike list, and Cannibal Corpse would probably be one of those bands on that list that I don't like. Your uncle showed you some Between the Buried and Me? Nice. Yeah, Between the Buried and Me is a really good band, for the most part. I felt like the only album where they really lacked a lot was Coma Ecliptic, I think it's called. Well, I have more than just, little issues with Cannibal Corpse though. Like I don't like the lyrics for one. The lyrics are I think a bit too much. And the vocals I also think are a bit too much. I don't know, they got some weird imagery. I mean, if somebody played Cannibal Corpse for me, I mean, I wouldn't, freak out about it. I mean, I would, because like I said in my elitist video, if someone else does like it, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. But, you know, I've been listening to metal on the radio recently. Dad can't decide. Can't decide if he'd rather listen to that or the Wiggles. MJ Nation's still trying to get into Between the Buried and Me. If you like Dream, I know you're a big Dream Theater fan, and I think you would like them a lot if you're a big Dream Theater fan, because Between the Buried and Me is basically progressive metal and metalcore combined, and I think most Dream Theater fans might like the clean vocal sections of their music. Um, so your uncle met all of Between the Buried and Me and chilled with them, dude. That's awesome, man. I tried listening to Mechanical, couldn't get into that black metal, aka gothic metal. I can't get into black metal either. In Flames should not take Breaking Benjamin advice. You know what I was thinking about In Flames? Like, you know why they took the direction that they took, right? Because they looked at bands like All That Remains, who used to be melodic metalcore, and then they're like alternative metal now, borderline country. And In Flames saw that that All That Remains was now attracting the fans of 3 Days Grace and the fans of Breaking Benjamin, all those bands. And I think In Flames tried to do that same thing, but if you really think about it, there's not even rockers who enjoy the new In Flames. So I think it really does says a lot when even the rock fans don't even enjoy the new In Flames stuff. I'm struggling with 90s Dark Tranquility, but I'm trying to keep my best with an open mind. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I've only heard only like a few albums from Dark Tranquility. And and all albums I've heard from them I very much enjoyed. So I definitely think it's safe to say that they're a really good band. Do you like Black Dial Murder? Never heard of them. Thoughts on Motionless in White? I've heard of them. I've heard a lot about them, but I never got around to listening to them. You know, I often think about what would have happened if the guy from Dark Tranquillity never left In Flames. Um, like, would the band get better? Or, I mean, I think they would definitely get better than what they are now, especially with Siren Charms and Battles. But yeah. Black Dial Murder is the top Melodeath band right now. I'll have to check them out. You heard of many bands during your years? I don't know why it doesn't seem like it. Every time I think of a band that no one has heard of before, the first band that comes to my mind is Insomnium. I feel like nobody's. I feel like there isn't enough Insomnium fans out there, and I can see where the replay value is lacking, but I think they're a really great band. I mean, I know there's also fans of Winter Sun, who I think are also a very underrated band. Best metal band name of all time? I don't really know. I grew up with a lot of bands, all because of my parents when I was young. Interesting. And me and Nick friends? Yeah. Doing psychology homework right now. Hey, man. I mean, it seems like it would be better than math, at the very least. Oh, Mezzy Mez. You're taking math and society, such a boring class. I can imagine, dude. Did Nick actually destroy your copies of Outlive and that Iron Maiden album you tried to review? Did you really think that was real? Serena, well, your Warped Tour. Oh, that's so bad. Oh my gosh. What's that sound in the background? That's that's the neighbors using the lawnmower. Bullet for My Valentine, Shine Down, Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, I do apologize about the noise in the background, of course. Shine Up, Broken Benja Woman. Oh, MJ Nation, you really come up with some good ones, I tell you. Blood on the Dance Floor is horrible. Review the self-titled album by My Indigo. Man, yeah, I really don't listen to pop like at all. Mez, oh my gosh. Pop, WTF. Review the Odyssey by Sympathy X. Maybe. Thoughts on punk rock. I don't know if I really listen to any punk rock. I really don't listen to any. Blood on the Dance Floor is the only band my friend has the guts to admit are worse than Nickelback. I actually might agree with that. Dude, I even think Five Finger Death Punch is better than Blood on the Dance Floor. Well, sorry. I just read it too fast, I guess. So I said it as sympathy. Mezzy Mez needs to show some sympathy to Serena. Skillet or Blood on the Dance Floor? Oh. I don't know. Five Finger Death Punch equals retard metal. Pretty much. I call it redneck metal, but, you know, it is what it is. So what do you think on In Morning? I don't know. I heard that, dude, like, I was going to review the deluxe edition of Skillet's Unleash Beyond, but I really didn't want to deal with the bull crap in the comment section. Skillet should just stick with being useful in the kitchen. Pretty much, yeah. I will say that Skillet, I think, is a guilty pleasure band for me. Like, actually, very recently, I will admit that very recently I did listen to one song from Hey You, I Love Your Soul. I think it's Your Love Keeps Me Alive. That's actually not a bad Skillet song. It might even be my favorite Skillet song of all time. But I don't know. Serena, those are all rock, though. Yeah. The Wiggles, Blood on the Dance Floor, or Nickelback? Well, Blood on the Dance Floor is definitely the worst of the three, but Wiggles and Nickelback, Monster by Skillet sounds a little similar to Animal I've Become by 3 Days Grace, especially the chorus delivery. No, Serena, not even metalcore. Mezzy Mez's expectations go above and beyond when it comes to metal, which I don't think is a bad thing, because I also listen to heavier genres than metalcore. So. But yeah, I know what you mean, MJ Nation. Cause listen to brutal tech death metal. Yeah, Because I think didn't Skillet's Awake came out like a few years after 3 Days Grace's 1X. So technically, they would be copying, what you call it, 3 Days Grace. But actually, Skillet's been around longer than 3 Days Grace. But I do think they kind of do take influence from each other. Is Reputation by Taylor Swift worse than Blown on the Dance Floor? I really don't know. I think I would rather listen to Reputation, believe it or not. Is death an option, Alex? Yeah. Oh, Mez. But yeah, since this is a melodic death metal stream, I wonder I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the band Insomnium, but I really do hope that they also come out with a new album. Hopefully, maybe by the end of this year or hopefully next year. So, thoughts on Red Hot Chili Peppers? I've heard of them. Not really heard any of their music. And I'm very curious to know when Insomnium does come out with a new album because I think Insomnium is kind of in an interesting spot right now in their discography because would their next album be like another 40-minute long song? I kind of doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. But most metal president, that's what the Wiggles asked. Insomnium cured your insomnia. What's my favorite Insomnium album? Well, honestly, I would have to go with their most recent, Winter's Gate. I think that's probably my favorite. Oh, Mezzy Mez, you always bring joy to the stream. At the Gates, start there. Yeah, At the Gates is pretty good. I would say start with Soilwork, only because that was my first melodic death metal band. I'm getting heavily into slam brutal death metal. That's cool, Wiggles. That's cool, Mr. Wiggles. Thoughts on Michael Bay and his movies? Uh, I think they're okay. What I'm really hyped for is the new Venom movie. I don't know how many of you guys saw that trailer, but that's actually one that I'm really looking forward to. But we got a ways to go till that actually comes out. What's funny is oh, you saw the trailer, Patrick and MJ? Cool. Yeah, you know what's funny is a Venom movie has been rumored like over 10 years ago. Like I remember it was rumored after when Spider-Man 3 came out. And I think that's cool that they're finally getting around to releasing it. You're seeing Avengers Infinity War tomorrow? Yeah, that one looks pretty cool too. It seems overhyped though. That's really my only issue. Wait. Yeah, I mean, I don't care if you like Five Finger Death Punch, but as long as you're open minded to all kinds of music, then I mean that's fine. Oh my goodness. 2012 is when I got into Red. So it was in between Until We Have Faces and Release the Panic. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem um if you like bands like Five Finger Death Punch or Avenged Sevenfold. But the way I look at it is if the mainstream metal bands are all someone listens to, then I really wouldn't consider them a metalhead. I mean, you know, which band should take Slayer's place in the big four when that's a good question. You know what? Vector. I think Vector should take their place because they're thrash metal too. You like all genres of metal except metalcore? That's cool. I do like some metalcore though. Like you do know that I do like I like Demon Hunter, Azalea Dying, Killswitch Engage, bands like those. But yeah, I'm pretty picky anymore when it comes to metalcore. Overkill should take their place. That's actually a reasonable answer, MJ Nation. The problem with Vector, if Vector took their place in the Big Four, I think they're way too new compared to the other three bands. Because like Vector is barely even 2000s. Like they're more 2010s because I know their first album didn't come out till 2009, and I think their second one came out in 2011. And then when they released their third one, it came out in 2016. Yeah, old metalcore is basically where it's at. I do like a little bit of Devil Wears Prada too, but they're a band that I can only take so much of nowadays. And their newest album, Transit Blues, it really didn't age well for me. I still think 818 is the Devil Wears Prada's best album. Probably 818. I don't know what else. They have too many. They have too many records that really just grew off of me. I think Dead Throne's pretty good too, and really isn't good putting words into people's mouths. You like my taste in music and music reviews and series. Thanks, dude. Deathcore. Really don't listen to deathcore, but I think Impending Doom is pretty good, and I know they're deathcore. Do you like the first album from Avenged Sevenfold? That may be one of the first the only metalcore albums I like. To be honest with you, I've only heard like very few not Kill Switch Engage, Avenged Sevenfold songs. Yeah, Suicide Silence is deathcore. Rank Suicide Silence, Asking Alexandria, and Wiggles from Worst to Best. Ooh. This is like one of the toughest ones yet. Um, I might have to put the Wiggles above them, both of them, to be honest. Then probably Suicide Silence, then Asking Alexandria. Suicide Silence doesn't have singing, so that one wins. Yes, the Wiggles. I don't know why I got a feeling that's Dalvin with that Wiggles account. Oh, Dalvy boy, is that you? Wait, they do now, so never mind. Suicide Silence is too. Oh my goodness. You like the Suicide Silence song? You Can't Stop Me. The only, the only Suicide Silence song that I've really ever heard was Doris. And the only reason I listened to it is because I knew it was a meme. You saw Suicide Silence with a friend, you didn't enjoy it too much? Yeah. Teehee. You're not really good at genre stuff. Yeah. Like, I never was either, because back in the day, metal was just metal to me. But eventually you do get to a point where you really start to recognize sounds, I guess. Like, I can, like, if I hear that a band, like, I can tell when a band is metalcore. Um, Melodic death metal is something that I do struggle with, though. Like, a lot of times I really can't tell the difference between melodic death metal and just regular death metal. Like, I actually didn't know that Carcass was melodic death metal because I thought that they were just regular death metal, like the band Death. But yeah, I can definitely tell when a band is metalcore, though. Deathcore, I can kind of tell a little bit when a band is deathcore as well. Thrash metal is kind of a gray area for me. Sometimes it is hard to tell, but like if the band's like from like came out like in the '80s or something, I I guess I can kind of tell if they're thrash metal. What's my favorite Death album? Out of all, I've only really heard three Death albums, and out of the ones I have heard, I would have to go with Human. I think Human really takes the cake for me, and it's the one that I listen to the most. I do like Leprosy though. That's another great one. Hmm. Human for you too. Nice. That's cool. That's cool, Eric. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you guys have seen my latest CD pickup video, but hang on. I um I got Lunar Strain by In Flames in the mail, and I did find out that this is actually a reissue, um, which is something I'm a little disappointed in because I thought it was going to be an original copy, and how I could tell this was a reissue was because of the disc. The disc has their new caption because if you guys know well enough, if you guys are familiar with In Flames, In Flames never always had this caption of their band name. That's how I knew it was a reissue. I think it might be a 2014 reissue. I'm not entirely sure though. But yeah, I was a little disappointed in it not being an original. But the album is, as it is, it's already hard to come across. And yeah. And the reason I did think it was an original is because crap, what is it? It's because it came in a jewel case. Because I actually didn't know this, but I thought all of In Flames reissue copies come in a digipack. I actually have one for an example. My yeah, that logo is one of their newest. Yeah, like I said, that's how I knew it was a reissue. Um, but this here is typically what In Flames reissue copies come in. This is the one for Colony. And a lot of them have the gold disc with the newer band name on it. So there is that. Should I review Saint Anger or Madness? Is it that bad series? I think you should do them both, to be honest. I think I might like Saint Anger just a hair more, but even that one's not that enjoyable to listen to. Yeah, I don't like Chelsea Grin either. Chelsea Grin's metalcore, right? Oh, Mezzy Mez. That's funny. I know that one band I do want to get into more and more. Now, this is a band that I've been a fan of for, I don't know, I'd say about a year, but the band is Black Sabbath. Yes, I know I'm very, very new to them. But actually, I've always liked, even when I was younger, I always loved the song Iron Man. And so I guess you could say they technically were the first metal band I got into, but I haven't heard all of Black Sabbath's albums yet. Um, I've heard their first four and Sabotage, and that's about it. Someone said it was cringy um, when the Wiggles would say, "Let's go to the party," in their Australian accents. Hmm. I know those people who like Black Sabbath only because they were the first or not the first, and that's not how it works. Yeah, I mean, I can respect that too, though. Like, I do appreciate that they are the first metal band to come around, but I think people should be a fan of their music too. I feel like that's the problem with people and music anymore. Like I feel like um a lot of people only like bands nowadays just because of facts and not for the music itself. But yeah, I actually have one. This here was actually the most recent um, addition to my Black Sabbath collection. Sabotage. So I have a few of the 2016 2016 reissue copies of the first few Black Sabbath albums. Favorite concert I've been to? I'm gonna have to go with Red because Red is really the only concert I've ever been to. Funny story about Red though. I actually met a dude last night who is friends with Michael Barnes and the two brothers. So that I think that's pretty cool. Interviews are more trustworthy from the band themselves. Huh, yeah. Are you going to see Breaking Benjamin on tour this summer? Maybe. I don't know. I really, as you guys know, I really don't go to that many shows. Um, Mainly because I don't do well with crowds and stuff like that. Because I get pretty bad anxiety easily. So and I don't know, just the feeling of being surrounded and feeling like you're stuck there and you can't get out. Just I really just don't like the thought of that, and I don't know. But I did see Red back in 2013. I've seen him twice actually. I saw Michael Barnes with and without the beard both times. Yeah. The sad thing is, I really don't feel like a real metalhead because I never go to concerts or anything. But I feel like my music collection really says otherwise. But I don't know because I have a crap load of albums now. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do another CD collection again one day. They were the introduction band. Nice. You did your CD collection? I'll have to check it out. I think you might want to block Mezzy Mez if he comments on that video. Concerts are dying anyways. Yeah. I would know, but in a sense, it doesn't surprise me. It's not done yet, though. Yeah, I'll block you now. Yeah, you kind of set yourself up for that, Serena. Is water wet? Better safe than sorry. already despise him. Well, I don't know. I will say that maybe both of you might be in the wrong here, only because, well, Mezzy Mez doesn't like anything with melody or clean vocals or anything. But on the other side, I know that you like a lot of the more mainstream stuff. So I don't know. That's a tough spot for me. I don't know. Ugh. I'm getting entertained by him. I actually am. I never held a CD in my hand, never been to a concert. I have a Metallica shirt. Yes, it's mainstream, and I listen to a lot of metal. It isn't about being a metalhead, it's about enjoying music. Nickelback is my second favorite metal band. Dude, same here. Dude, Nickelback? Oh my goodness. Dude, Nickelback makes Meshuggah sound like Teletubbies. Like, my friend's slowly becoming a metalhead. Um, any advice to him? It depends on what kind of metal he's getting into. Like, do you have any idea? Like metalcore, alternative metal, death metal? Oh, the old Nickelback jokes. I love them. Me too. Tell him it's not a good idea. Yeah, there's definitely there. I do think there's a lot of pros to becoming a metalhead, but there's a lot of cons too, and a lot of problems that being a metalhead does come with the price though. Um, like people will. I think you definitely won't have a lot in common with people. Like everyone knows that I deal with that. um, no one loves metalheads. Yeah, that's the thing too, though. Like a lot of people say that oh, metal makes people depressed. All metalheads are depressed, and here's me who believes that that's not even the truth. Because if you think about it, what I determine as depressing music is like softer music. Um, and metal is like the fastest, heaviest genre ever. So um, it kind of makes me think, you know, like what are people thinking when they think that's the depressing music? And I think what a lot of people don't realize is metal is not the cause; it's the effect. And because nobody just goes into metal and then just gets depressed because of they listen to it. Because because I feel like a lot of these people they really don't understand why people like us go to metal in the first place. Like if it's like if it really does make people depressed, these people act like we're trying to get depressed by getting into this genre. But like I said, it's not the cause, but it's the effect. We go to metal because of the struggles that we've been through and our life circumstances, and because we're very much aware that there are problems in the world, while in the pop community and the K-love community and the pretty much everything else, the world wants you to make you think that everything's okay, and everything's not okay. I mean, yeah, there's going to be you know situations where things are going to be good, but nothing in life is going to be perfect. And that's what the K-Love community wants you to think, and the pop community wants you to think. And while the metal, I think is definitely the real deal when it comes to that. Sorry, I'm not responding to your comments. That was I just went on a tangent there. We get treated like second-class citizens. Yeah. No one actually listens to metal where I live. I actually don't know anyone who does, like in person. Yeah. Well, I live in the Berg, so we get a lot of rap people around here. So, you know. But actually, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with a YouTuber named Alpha Omega Sin, but this guy actually only lives like a few minutes away from me. Yeah. Oh, you like those bands about death and gore? You must be one of those filthy metalheads. So you're still unexperienced making YouTube videos as of now? Hey man, you'll get there. You don't get depressed by music? I don't either, but it really does depend. I mean, I will say, oh great, Metal Man's back. I get way too many trolls in here. The most recent, I think the most recent album that kind of gets me in a depressed mood is Linkin Park's latest album. You know. Yeah, Alpha Omega Sin only lives a few minutes away from here. If I run into him, I may consider doing a collab. Why are you hating on me? Because, dude, the last time you came in here, you started, going over metals, like minerals and stuff, like not actually the music. You love, hate my chant. What? Okay, then. But yeah, the most recent Linkin Park album was really the last type of music that really had me in a down mood, especially the title track. And I do like that song a little bit, but it's definitely a sad song. Oh God, you wish I were there for that. I would probably put it online. I scream loud, you scream louder. Oh no. Oh no. Raven says, you don't actually understand the people that say metal is satanic. I don't either, to be honest. I think the reason, like, that statement has been an ongoing thing since Black Sabbath came around. So I don't think it's something that's going to go away really anytime soon. I think maybe once we reach like a generation where we have a little bit of an open mind. So I like metal. No, dude, I like pop. No, I'm just kidding. I do like metal. I shouldn't say I like metal. I like it a lot, actually. Yeah, and I'm not saying that not all metal isn't satanic, because there definitely is, like Deicide and Behemoth, but I do try to steer away from the more satanic bands. However, I do keep hearing that a lot of these so-called satanic bands are not really satanic. Yeah, dude, Chuck was the nicest person ever. Chuck from Death. Yeah, I've seen a recent interview with him, and he seemed pretty cool. Can you review a Pink album? That's not going to happen, man. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like if you were to hear Death's music, you would have thought that this lead vocalist was out, breaking car windows and out beating people out on the street or whatever. But that's really not the case at all. Like if you see like interviews with him, if you're like, what, this guy really? His bro died and he read about death, deep stuff. Yeah, for sure. Is there a reason why I avoid black metal and the satanic side of metal? Because I do too. Don't know why. Well, it's because I'm not satanic. um, and I don't know, black metal. I can't get past the vocals. I mean, there's more to my reasoning to not liking black metal more so than it being satanic. But I think it has to do with the vocals too. I Raven says I used to steer clear of satanic bands since I'm a Christian, but it doesn't bother me so much. I've been gotten so far. So no, so I've got into bands like Behemoth, Dark Funeral. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I joined Zach chats to support and give him a lot because I like him in his music stuff and shows. Doesn't take that in a gay way. Don't worry, I don't. Yeah, I think the reason you know, a lot of people like back like in the 70s and 80s, like when everyone thought that metal was like the most satanic genre, is because they looked at bands like Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden, and they looked at their album covers, because I feel like a lot of times people look at metal album covers and think, why isn't the band on the album cover? Why does it have to be this? And even if the band is on the album cover, they would say, oh, they look like freaks. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no pleasing people when it comes to the anti-metal crowd. You're not gay? Okay. I remember when I started getting into metal, some people in my family was bashing on Demon Hunter because their album covers looked evil and uncrit. That's stupid, man. Especially considering that they're a Christian band. Yeah, MJ Nation. Yep. How'd you know, Mez? Well, you get upset if I enter Team Zach. Oh my goodness. I'm just kidding, Mezzy Mez. Viking metal doesn't exist. You want to hear a really good Viking folk metal? Give me a sec. If I can find it, here it is. Winter Sun Time. They combine melodic death metal, Viking metal, and folk metal. And it's very good stuff. Yeah, we're just joking, Serana. That's what Nords listen to. My character is actually a Nord in Skyrim, so to be fair, I won't argue with that. I haven't played Skyrim in forever though. Serana, are you subscribed to my game channel? Favorite bullet for my Valentine? I don't listen to them, dude. Have I listened to Am and Armith? I've heard great things about them, but I haven't really. They're a band that I never really dived into yet, but I really should. Never heard of Cryotopsy either, Mez. Sorry. I don't listen to Morbid Angel either. I mean, I've listened to one of their songs, I think from one of their more earlier albums, but I think they're okay, but I can't really see myself getting really heavily into them. You just have a hard time taking jokes. Dude, if you knew me in real life, dude, you wouldn't know when I was joking and when I wasn't. Like, it gets ridiculous sometimes. Favorite Exodus? Haven't listened to them either. Hey man, don't feel bad about being insensitive, because I can be the same way. You know? I think there's some good factors in being sensitive. Breaking Benjamin. My favorite Breaking Benjamin album is Phobia. That's been my favorite Breaking Benjamin album for pretty much as long as I've been a fan. Although I think when I first got into them, it used to be Dear Agony, but like a few years after I got into them, I kind of established I like Phobia more. Favorite Seven Dust? Really don't listen to them either. Have you heard of Asking Alexandria? They're like this really heavy metal band. Oh my gosh. Favorite Demon Hunter? Probably the Triptych. Well, the Triptych definitely. The Triptych and True Defiance are my favorites. It's really hard to decide between those two. Yeah, speaking of Demon Hunter, the Outlive album really just went off the charts for me. Like when the album first came out, I thought it was like 1,000 times better than The Extremist. But then I was like, no, Extremist I think is still a better album. Yeah, I do have a game channel. It's called Zach's Game Talk. Just look that up, Zach's Game Talk. Yeah, I think I still do like Outlive more than The World is a Thorn, but that's not really saying much. What are some bands I want to check out? I forget, but there were a couple bands that I really wanted to get more heavily into. Like, I want to get more into Motor Breath. I think not Motor Breath. Motorhead. That's what they're called. Motor Breath is I think that's a Metallica song. But yeah, I heard great things about Motorhead. I hear they're overrated, but that's not really stopping me from wanting to check them out. Reputation is my favorite album. Interesting. Carry Me Down was my favorite song for like 1 month, and then Demon Hunter died for me. I don't know why. Yeah, I think Demon Hunter is one of those bands um, that are only good on occasion because I know I've considered them like my favorite band since 2014, but I think I think the problem with me and Demon Hunter is I've gotten into them during a very unique time of my life, and that's why they hold a special place in my heart for me. You know, um, it was my what the crap was it? Senior year, something like that. I don't remember. It was like yeah, it was like 2014. That's when the Extremists did come out. Yeah, The World is a Thorn is actually I can respect that album in a way because The World is a Thorn is the closest that Demon Hunter has ever got to melodic death metal. Although I'm not sure if I would agree with that though, because I think the closest they've ever come to melodic death metal was their debut album. That's just my opinion though. The title track from The World is a Thorn is a really good song in my opinion. Yeah, it's actually pretty underrated, and I think the reason that it's underrated is because it's a it's a heavy one. There's not a whole lot of melody in it, but I do like it. One track from The World is a Thorn that I really didn't care for too much was Life War. That's like I mean, I liked it a little bit when I first listened to it, but I don't know. I couldn't get past that song anymore. You need melody in your metal, right? Not all the time. As you know, I do like Meshuggah and Death. Used to love Life War, but now I'm like, man, yeah, I'm the same way, dude. Life War just seems like the biggest filler that Demon Hunter has ever put on an album. Like they could have really done without that song. The World is a Thorn's a really heavy album, actually. Yeah, melody is good with metal sometimes. Favorite Meshuggah? I have listened to most of Meshuggah's records, and out of the ones that I have heard, that's tough because I think all their previous work and all their new work are good. Um, but crap, what was it? Probably the Violent Sleep of Reason. Maybe that or Kolos. Kolos is actually a very underrated album. Ever heard of Dillinger Escape Plan? No, I have not. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge Randall's presence here, but now I do. The music video is really cool, but I'm not big on the song anymore. You know, it's funny because I know that Demon Hunter. I know they real. I feel like in a sense I can tell that they really don't like doing music videos, and that's why they chose to make that one the music video because it's the shortest one. It won't take that long to do the music video for it, and they did it in the most simplest way possible. Now there is actually a music video for Collapsing, but I don't think it's on their official page or anything. Demon Hunter hates touring and hates music videos. Fact. Yeah, they really don't tour, with Outlive. But whatever. What's my favorite In Flames song ever? Dude, that's tough. Um, I would have to go with Artifacts from the Black Rain. Um, from the Jester Race. And with that being said, the Jester Race is probably my personal favorite In Flames album. Hmm. You're hoping for another Red/Demon Hunter tour? Doubtful. Yeah. The sad thing is though with that last tour that they had, they toured while I wasn't even into Demon Hunter yet. I was into Demon Hunter like shortly after the tour ended, I think. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I could have just seen Red and Demon Hunter in tour. So, yeah, but Demon Hunter is full of old farts that don't see the potential of YouTube. Yeah, I was just saying how the Outlive album really went off the charts for me. I mean, when it first came out, I thought it was 1,000 times better than Extremis, but I don't know. I nowadays I think Extremis is a tad better. Barely anybody knows. Nothing Face, Poison the Well. Not that much these days. Aren't even mainstream. I would have definitely gone, but they didn't come anywhere near me. They did go to Ohio, which is the closest I think they have came to me, and I think I would have went there for that because Ohio is really not that far from me. You were there. Where were you? Yeah, Cold Blood is Ryan's old man rant about how he doesn't get the internet. Yeah, I knew that Cold Blood was about his thoughts for the internet, but um, I didn't know that it was like that. Yeah, I think Cold Blood is really the song on Outlive that really got the closest to classic Demon Hunter. That's what I think, at least. Yeah, the chorus of Cold Blood is pretty good. What do I think of Apocalypto? Never really heard of him. Ryan Clark is pretentious too. What do you mean? Sometimes it's hard to let go of your favorite band. Yeah, like I don't know, Demon Hunter. I wouldn't really consider them my number one anymore, but I will always be a fan of them. But like I'll always still buy their albums when they come out and things like that. But I don't know. There's just been a lot of things that I haven't really been liking lately with them. I mean, I'll always still love the Triptych. I mean, as a lot of you guys know, the Triptych is probably my all-time favorite metalcore album. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of bands nowadays that I would place in front of Demon Hunter now. Ryan says modern metal is disappointing, and then makes mediocre music that doesn't even sound unique enough to break the mold. Like he should take his own advice. Yeah, that that that. that does seem kind of hypocritical. Now, when he means modern metal, does he mean like I don't know, like 2010s era or like early 2000s era or what? Pretty much anything from this decade. Oh man. Hopefully, Slipknot doesn't disappoint. The last album is mostly about their bassist Paul Gray. Yeah, I think I knew that. That's why it was called the Gray Chapter. For the next Slipknot album, I hope they go. I hope they take it back to the Iowa style because that's my probably my personal favorite album from them. That and the self-titled. I really like their first two albums. Yeah, Iowa's is a good album. Review the new Death Grip albums when it drops. Maybe. Do you like classic music? Because you said you only like music that real instruments. I'm kind of iffy with classic music. I don't hate it, but I do know that metal is linked all the way back to classic music, and you can really tell that in bands like Insomnium and Winter Sun, and even Insuferium. Iowa is good, but it goes on for way too long. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty surprising that Slipknot is as popular as they are, considering like if you were in my shoes and were aware of Slipknot's popularity, you would have thought that they would have been like the most like mainstream, most melodic thing ever. But really, their music really doesn't sound that mainstream. Like it sounds like classic Demon Hunter, like or even like Training for Utopia. Yeah, the title track Iowa was pretty long. They were the cutting edge of new metal. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like too many bands like Slipknot, they what was it? They like don't release albums in like years, like, and they think that's all right to do. How many albums? Their Slipknot's next album is going to be their sixth, right? And I know it's going to be their last too. I think, which seems kind of surprising because Corey Taylor, he doesn't seem that old. So, yeah, mysterious and controversial. Yeah, Slipknot is influenced by Cannibal Corpse. Interesting. Yeah, I don't listen to Cannibal Corpse, but I mean, I can respect that. They did help influence them. Yeah. Yeah, as far as Slipknot's most recent album, The Gray Chapter, it's an album. I don't know. I have I have mixed feelings about the album. I like some songs from it, but it's not really an album that I really see myself returning to that much. The psychosocial riff is exactly the same from Hammer Smash Face. Interesting. Thought I heard something. I despise Cannibal Corpse. You guys see their album covers? Yeah, I know. I know, Serrano. I'm not a fan of them either. Don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, that's true. No, oh, what Randall just said really reminded me of something. Do you guys know of a band called Unicorns Killed My Girlfriend? Because that right there, oh, greatest metal band of all time. No, I'm just kidding. I think they actually might be worse than Asking Alexandria. You know what? Worse than Taylor Swift. Unicorns Kill My Girlfriend. Yeah, that's something you gotta judge. WTF is that? Um, it's some weird, like, emo, small budget band. I wouldn't even call them small budget. They just kind of happened. And all of a sudden they like blew up on the internet for a little bit. And all the members look so emo, and all the lyrics are is basically shut the f up, and there's just a lot. Like most of the lyrical content has swearing in it. So I mean, again, if you know me, I don't have a problem if music has swearing in it, because you guys do know that I do like bands like Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace that will have explicit lyrics, but if I feel like if it's done more than it should be, then I don't know. That's where I see it as immature. You seeing Infinity War? I might. It looks really good, but seems a little overhyped. For a guy who makes movies you don't watch talk about movies, why is that? I don't know. Um, I don't know why that is. Um, I just don't think there's a lot of movies today that have been really appealing to me as much. Because, however, I do think that this year, 2018, I think this is going to be the best year for movies in a long time. Because I can't even remember the last time I was excited for any movies. Last year was an amazing year for movies, I guess. What movies did we have last year? Then I'm not in the loop, yeah. I do have a DVD collection. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's exactly where I'm pointing. That's my DVD collection right there. It's not very much, but you know, it's something. Favorite movies of all time? Um, that's a good question. I really like the Spider-Man trilogy, the Tobey Maguire one, for clarification, and um, I like a more recent movie that came out in 2012 called Chronicle, and I do like the Back to the Future series. I think that movie trilogy was definitely played a huge factor in my childhood. Just for clarification, I wasn't born in the 80s because I know that trilogy came out in the 80s, which I think was also a good time. Oh yeah, I forgot about Logan. Yeah, the Marvel movies are definitely good. Hang on a minute. This is that movie I was talking about, Chronicle. It's definitely a must see, I think. And this is really the only one I haven't opened yet. It's called The Other Side. I actually got one. I got this one for free actually. This one, uh, I met the screenwriter of this film actually. That's how I got it for free. Um, and yeah, it's a very interesting movie. You kind of don't know the whole topic of it till like towards like the second half of the movie. It's more like a zombie kind of kind of film. Oh, I've seen what? Yeah, I have. I've seen it in in the film studio. Your favorite genre of film? I I don't know. I would probably have to go with action. That movie I got for free. I've seen it. Yeah, like I said, I seen it in the film studio whenever I met the director or the screenwriter because he had a presentation. I met the screenwriter. We chatted up for a little bit. I should really open it and watch it again though, because it's actually pretty well done for a low budget. Okay, see ya. You heading out? Okay. You a weeb don't like? Yeah. Well, I like how we turn this discussion to a movie topic. I mean, that's interesting too, because which of course I don't care because movies are a part of me. Like half of me is film, I would say, because a lot of you guys do know that I do like making films. Just so you guys know too, I don't do these series work for money or anything. I do them for completely free. I mean, I think money might be a factor involved, maybe at some time, but as of now, I do them just because. You love horror movies? You know, it's funny. I never really seen any horror movies. As crazy as that sounds, considering my Ardening series is as freaky as it is. But I've definitely my Ardening series has mainly been inspired and influenced by a game called Outlast. Not sure how many of you guys played that game. The only you have anime posters. The only poster I have on my wall is the Demon Hunter special edition of the Triptych. Outlast isn't that hard. But yeah, Outlast, if you guys are wondering what influenced my Ardening series, it was that game, Outlast. And believe it or not, but yeah, I haven't played Outlast 2 either. How I played the first one, the only reason I played the first one was because it was free. And you know, I saw a walkthrough for it by the Rad Brad a long time ago, and then I saw that it was free to play, and I was like, oh, you know, proud, of course. Yep. Yeah. Okay, I'm out. That's funny. That's okay, man. I think I'm going to end the stream right here anyway. So I hope you all enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like on the stream if you haven't. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Good talk.